What's going on around this Afro think tank? So, a white man deletes his Asian wife. A white man deletes his Asian wife. And when I hear about it, I go online to go see if I can find all the stories, all the outrage of this white man who deleted his Asian wife. Because, you know, white men delete their Asian wives a lot. And we always see it in the news, and we never see the Asian community, like, get outraged. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can't believe these white folks are doing this to us. Discrimination, racism. I never see it. I don't see that same Asian. I mean, you see some Asians talking about it, but never to the level of how they're currently talking about how African people want to, you know, retract their money from their businesses because they don't respect us. Or they treat us like shit. And it's not just because of the one incident where that Asian man killed, you know, that innocent black boy, shot him in the back, right, for a bottle of water, because apparently that black boy's life was not worth the bottle of water, right? That water that the Asian man, you know, thought that he stole, right? His life was not worth the bottle of water. And so Asian people, I've noticed that since that happened, and since our reaction, right, because keep in mind, it's not just this one incident. There are multiple incidences where there's hundreds of videos of Asian people abusing or discriminating against black people. So this is just a combination of things. This is just the straw that broke the camel's back, because we should have boycotted these specific businesses. And to you Asian people, we don't hate you Asian people. We're not boycotting you as a culture. We're boycotting these specific businesses within our communities that are abusive to our communities specifically. All right, that's what we're doing. Specifically, these Asian businesses who are known, historically known for doing these things to us. That's what we're doing. We're not being racist towards you or anything. What we're doing is saying, you don't respect us. You look down upon us. You want to come and bring your toxic culture and destroy all the hard work us black people been working for in this country. We're not going to patronize your businesses, and we're going to go and spend with people who respect us and care about us and value us as human beings, and who value us more than a bottle of water, our lives more than a bottle of water. But when I went to go look at all the Asian people that's supposed to be so upset about, you know, their women being killed by that white man, it was really hard to find anything. It was really hard to find any people as pissed off as those Asian people were when they found out black people were boycotting them. Because when black people decide they don't want to spend their money with them, all of a sudden they was outraged. Oh my God, you shouldn't do this. Oh my God, this and that. Oh my God, you're taking it out on all of us. Oh my God, this, I mean, just straight, just outraged. They are pissed off that we say we don't want to give them our money, right? But this white man can kill this Asian woman in this silence. There's not one video of an Asian person flipping the hell out on white people, right, because of this. Not one. As a matter of fact, there are Asian people, Asian men who are saying, aha, I got you, I told you so, to Asian women. Who Asian women, by the way, for all you don't know, Asian women, and we're, you know, are known for disrespecting Asian men online and telling the whole world that white men are better than Asian men. This is a whole thing. The Asian woman, y'all think black women, you know, a few black women that say they like white men, you think that's something. The women in Asia think that they are better than their Asian men, to the point where they feel like they're more valued. The white man is a high value man compared to their men. And of course, black men too. We're like number two. They're number one, white people, because of the perception created, and we're number two because of real, raw, natural desire for us, right? Right? But it's the men. The men rather say F you to the Asian woman, you know, or I got you to the Asian woman, than be outraged that there's white people destroying and killing their Asian women, while also conditioning Asian women to value white men over Asian men. But Asian men got smoke for little black boys and water bottles. You ain't got no smoke for these white men who can kill your women, steal your women, destroy your communities, right? And make themselves look better than you, totally demasculate you. You got no smoke for them. There ain't no Asian men on there going buck wild on these white dudes. None, except for like the one, there's like one where he been going buck wild on white folks because he's actually woke. He understands. There's a few Asian ones that totally understand. And I ain't talking about them. I'm not talking about all Asians. But there's a lot of y'all. This is not just one thing where you can say, oh, this individual Asian. No, you guys systematically and culturally are racist towards black people. African Americans are not systematically and culturally racist towards anybody. We are reactive towards what you do to us. But how come you guys are not reacting to these white people? Doesn't that show the level of conditioning that white people have done on you? Doesn't it show the propaganda? Doesn't it show how weak you guys are to attack the only people that ever help you, which is black people, and have all this energy and smoke, and all of a sudden you guys can speak now. Y'all got rah rah rah, y'all rah 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 with us, right? Where's the rah 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 for this? Which one's more serious? Us not buying an egg roll from you, or a white man killing one of your women? Which one's more serious? Because right now it seems like the egg roll is more important than your your Asian woman. You tell me. Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn some tea. I'm out.
A 43-year-old Asian woman named Martha Holliday was shot and killed by her husband, Richard Holliday, following a late-night domestic dispute in Johns Creek, Georgia. After killing Martha, Richard Holliday took his own life. Their children, ages 12, 13, and 17, were inside the home when the shooting occurred. Thankfully, the children were physically unharmed. Martha was described as a woman of faith, positivity, and compassion. According to the North Fulton Chamber of Commerce, where she served as a board member, she was a beautiful and talented professional who created and led chamber events with the passion of making others feel happy and connected. My heart goes out to Martha, her children, her loved ones, and everyone impacted by this tragedy. One thing I couldn't help but notice was how some headlines framed this story. Many simply referred to him as a Georgia dad. No photo, no emphasis on who he was, just Georgia dad. It reminded me of similar conversations during Stop Asian Hate, when many people and I called out the media for how differently perpetrators were covered depending on their race. When the perpetrator is a person of color, their name, face, and identity are often front and center. When the perpetrator is white, headlines suddenly become vague. They're described as dad, husband, community member, while their identity and actions take a back seat. This is how white perpetrators are often protected in media coverage. Their image is softened, their identity becomes secondary, and the conversation shifts away from them. Meanwhile, people of color are put on full display for the public to scrutinize. The result is a media landscape that repeatedly portrays people of color as the face of violence, while white perpetrators receive a level of shielding that others do not. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, that double standard shapes public perception. It influences who we associate with danger, who we view with sympathy, and whose violence gets treated as an individual tragedy rather than part of a larger pattern. Most importantly, though, a woman lost her life. Martha Holliday was more than a headline. She was a mother, a community leader, and someone deeply loved by those around her. My heart especially breaks for her children. In a single night, they lost both of their parents and were forced to endure a tragedy no child should ever have to experience. I cannot imagine the grief, confusion, and pain they must be carrying right now. I hope they are surrounded by love, support, and people who will help them navigate the difficult road ahead, wishing them strength, comfort, and healing in the days, months, and years to come. May Martha Holliday rest in peace.
In the aftermath of tragedy, there is no greater hater of Asian women, no greater person at victim blaming Asian women than Asian men. And I say this in the aftermath of the most recent tragedy, the death of Martha Holliday. Murdered by her husband, murder-suicide. And the comments blaming her for her own death at the hands of her white husband are by and large from Asian men who are saying, well, she chose this because she chose to victimize herself. She chose to be an example of Oxford study violence. She chose to be victimized in this way. And I've seen this before. Where have I seen this before? Oh, yes, in the murder-suicide absolute tragedy that happened in Houston not too long ago between restaurateur and Instagram personality T. Mitchell and her husband. Now, regardless of the racial dynamics of it, domestic violence, gendered violence is a problem within all communities. Why? Because men are men. Does race have something to do with it? Probably yes. These are two cases of two high-profile and well-reported incidents of domestic violence, murder-suicide between a older, wealthy white husband and their younger Asian spouse. Both of them had families, they had children. And in that respect, they are.
The person you're trying to reach isn't available. Please leave a message at the tone. When you finish talking, you may hang up.
This is a message from Pentagon Federal Credit Union. Please contact us at 1-800-451-7269 regarding one of your accounts.
These events turned into a gotcha by Asian.
White male, Asian female is improbably the most common interracial couple. They are a quarter of all interracial marriages, despite Asian women being only 8% of married women. They almost outnumber Asian male, white female, white male, black male, white female. White male, Asian female couples are statistically weird.
This is Martha O. Holiday. Martha was 43 years old and had 3 sons, 17, 13, and 12. And Martha worked with immigrant families in the Fulton County school system. And Martha planned events that made people feel seen and connected. And Martha's friends said that she could light up any room she walked into, and she could make you smile on even your worst day. And Martha should be alive today, not because of the choices she made, not because of who she chose as a partner, not because of her racial self-esteem, and not because she should have had a plan. Martha should be alive because her husband should not have killed her. That's the sentence that matters. Her husband should not have killed her. And I, like Martha, am Korean American, married to a white man, so I know what a lot of you are gonna say. You're gonna say that I see myself in Martha, and maybe I do. But I also see myself in every single woman across racial, economic, political, religious lines, women who've lost their lives at the hands of their domestic partners. I see myself in all of them, and they should all be alive too. And when I think about Martha's boys, I can't help but think of my daughters and what it would mean if they lost me, not just to a tragedy, but to the narrative that my choices are what led to my death. Because that's what's happening right now. Martha's boys are somewhere grieving the death of their mother at the hands of their father. And there are people reducing this to Oxford study, reducing it to Martha's choices, reducing it to Martha's self-esteem, and making it about Martha and her choices instead of about Martha's husband and his choices. And believe me, I understand the conversation about the over-sexualization and fetishization of Asian women. I've had that conversation. I will continue to have that conversation. And I understand the way that certain men reduce Asian women to just a fantasy and how dehumanizing that is. Again, I understand how real and important those conversations are. But when you use that conversation to explain why a certain woman is dead, you stop talking about male violence and turn this into why her choices made this all her fault. And what does that do to women like Martha? It makes her disappear. It makes her humanity disappear. And all that's left is a cautionary tale about Asian women and who they choose to love. That to me is not advocacy. That's not protection. That's just dehumanization in a different way. From what I can tell, Martha was a smart, loving, compassionate human being who just wanted to raise her boys. And now she will never get that chance. She will never get the chance to see them grow up. She'll never see them graduate from high school. She'll never cry at their weddings. One day, one of those boys might come across a video that made her death her fault, because this became about Martha's choices, but not her husband's. Martha O. Holiday should be alive today. And if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please call 1-800-799-SAFE. They are on call 24 hours a day.
A lot of y'all have probably heard about the Atlanta shooting by now, but if you haven't, a white terrorist shot up multiple Asian massage parlors, leaving 8 people dead. 6 of the 8 victims were of Asian descent and were also women. This is clearly a racially charged hate crime, and yet the media refuses to acknowledge that. At a conference, an officer boiled it all down to the shooter just having a bad day. I don't know about you, but when I have a bad day, I just take a nap or eat something, not shoot innocent people. He also said that it was because the shooter had a sex addiction. What does that even mean? He also said this. So I'm not surprised. It's 2021. Can y'all just hold white men accountable for their crimes? Is that so hard? Instead of spreading the criminals' names, spread the victims' names instead. And may they rest in peace.
So there is a restaurant owner who is a Vietnamese American woman, and her 2 kids were killed in a husband's home. And she is also pregnant too. And the police identified that her husband is the actual suspect. Now, I talked about this a lot of times, that white male and Asian female pairings is the issue. Not always a problem, but always a man who has done these things. And it's usually white men who has microaggressions and the ones who are responsible with sexual assault. And this explains it so much that the vast majority of white men are behind with the Atlanta spa shooting. And I will say this, not all men, but always a men. And that's the example of men are responsible for all these things that they did to women. And this explains it in the poll that the white people are also behind with the shootings, and it's always the vast majority of white men. This explains it all by white supremacy. Until we hold a lot of men accountable, the ones who are responsible for these things, then we will dismantle the patriarchal system. 6 years ago in the Atlanta shooting, 6 Asian women were shot down by a white nationalist. Say he has a bad day, and that comes from a white privilege. And this guy right there is also responsible for microaggression and fetishizing Asian women. All the shooters that came around in the country is always white people. Even the event happened 5 years ago, the violence against Asian women is still rampant. Hypersexualization against Asian women is linked to white supremacy, and it still keeps going under this administration that they are still defending these mediocre white men.
This man came onto social media, specifically TikTok, to try to shame his Filipino wife, saying she wanted to divorce him the day she got her green card. Sir, I'm pretty sure you pursued this arrangement. The thing about ditching American women to find love overseas is just that. It has to have love. It only works for both people if love exists. We all know you can't buy love. And I'm not talking about this couple specifically, but in general. But I'm guessing that you wanted a traditional wife in this arrangement. One that cooks, cleans, washes laundry, and pops out kids for you. And expect love. But sir, that's a maid. The way he was talking about how big his house was, that was just so off-putting to me. Bro is like 20 years older than his Filipino wife, but acting 20 years younger than her by holing up in the basement, coming onto social media, and then demanding his wife responds on TikTok. I don't know if he was trying to make a show of it, but to me that was like a tantrum. Anyway, Earl, run as fast as you can.
Yup, and I might as well tell a story because this was recent, and what I found interesting was that it was really hard finding a picture of this man in the regular news. I had to go to tabloid sites to get his picture. I wonder why. An American man on his honeymoon unalived his wife in Fiji. And since TikTok is looking for any single reason to ban my content, I can't repeat what he did to his wife. And here's the kicker. He was arrested 2 days later on a different island in Fiji. And yes, I want to show this picture of him in jail. Marry a white man, end up unalive, but I know it won't change a certain type of people's worldview. Especially those with a white savior, white worshipping complex that demonize Asian men.
I have a message for Asian women that date white guys. As the biracial child of that kind of couple, I don't have anything against it. You know, you do you, who cares? I don't care who dates who, right? But did you know that if you have a daughter and your daughter goes outside with your white ass fucking husband, people are gonna think that they're together? Did you know that? And it will emotionally damage your daughter forever. To this day, I refuse to go to like a restaurant alone with my dad because I cannot emotionally recover from somebody referring to me as his wife one more time. So it's fine. It's fine that you date anyone that you want to, but just know that if you're an Asian woman and your partner is a white man, you're gonna have to go to restaurants with him and your children for the rest of everyone's natural life. Because my dad is fucking 80. And it would happen if I went somewhere with, I can't even go somewhere with him. He's 80 fucking years old. I walk into restaurants if I'm with my dad like this. Dad. That's how I walk in. That's the future for your kids. I'm just saying, it's fine. I'm just telling you how it's gonna go.
So I had a troll comment on my video the other day, just another self-hating Asian woman who married a white man, and I thought I would address this because it has come to my attention that complete strangers are experts in my self-worth and marriage, and this is concerning to me, because if this man is such an expert in my life, then how much time does he have to bettering his own? We all know time is a finite resource, and if he's spending so much time on me, I worry that he's not thinking about himself enough. So to this Chad, here's what I have to say. Thank you for the concern, but I'd like you to be a little bit more selfless and think about yourself more, because my comment section is not a manifestation board. You will not love yourself more or magically grow a bigger cucumber by trolling me. And I will not magically start hating myself just because your twitchy little thumbs decided that the only thing you could do today to make yourself feel better was put a stranger on the internet down. And to all the biddies who do sometimes have a hard time loving themselves, as I do, because hey, that's life and we can't all feel good all the time, just realize that at least you're doing better than a faceless Chad who spends his days on the internet hating women because he can't get one. So, pouring one out for Twitchy McGee and all the time he wasted trolling me. May we not know him, may we not be him, and may we certainly never marry him. Cheers.
Let's talk about interracial marriage. I'm really hoping this lands on the right side of TikTok because let me tell you, the amount of slander I get on Instagram because I'm married to a white man is unreal. So I'm Taiwanese and my husband is white. We got married this past June. We actually eloped with just our parents. Something that I think people assume about me because I am married to a white man is that I have only ever dated white men, and that is just not the case. In fact, until Sam, I only ever dated Asian men or like half Asian men. Part of it was because I grew up in a predominantly white area where I just never felt accepted by boys. So when I went to college, I was kind of like, I'm never talking to a white man ever again. The other part of it was that my parents don't speak a lot of English, as a lot of my followers know. They immigrated here from Taiwan when they were well into adulthood. So having a partner that could communicate with them was always really important to me. And there was a point in time where my preference was to date or marry somebody who spoke Mandarin because that is the language that my parents speak. But every Asian man I ever dated cheated on me, and I don't think it's because they were Asian. I just think that I was really bad at picking life partners. I feel like I was prioritizing things like, could you speak the language, over a lot of other red flags that I didn't see at the time. And eventually I just started dating people that I thought were good people, regardless of if they spoke Chinese or not. And of course, when you're not looking, the perfect person always falls into your lap, and that's when I met Sam. We met in 2019, and I was super hesitant to tell my parents that I was dating a white boy. Because I think for so long I had built up and internalized how I thought they would feel if I married somebody that they couldn't communicate with. But honestly, I think after all the heartache that my mom specifically saw me go through in college with my college ex-boyfriend, she was just happy that I was happy. And at that point in my life, my mom thought I had given up on dating entirely. So she was just happy that I was seeing someone that, you know, made me happy. The first time my parents met Sam, he actually bought these translating like AirPods to try to understand my parents better. It was the sweetest thing. Granted, it did not work. Those things were absolute trash. But my mom and my dad, they fell in love with him regardless. And here we are today, 5 years later and married and about to have our first child. Sam has been so thoughtful through learning my culture, and he actually even asked my dad to marry me via written letter in Chinese. Him and his entire family did a traditional tea ceremony with my family for our wedding. And I know they both try so hard and put in so much effort to have a relationship. It is always in the back of my mind that he's never gonna have the same relationship with my parents that I do with his parents. And I do feel guilty, but I know that that is an internal battle that I'm facing. He has never once made me feel like it wasn't enough. In fact, I think he prefers my mom to me. Like, he loves her so much. At the end of the day, I think when you find your person and they are truly your person, your parents see it, they accept it. All they want is for you to be happy. I know that's not the case, everywhere. So I do feel really fortunate that that's the case with me.
I've gotten a handful of messages or comments from people in the Asian community. It's usually the men who are upset that I chose to marry a white guy. And while I know that this is not personal, it has nothing to do with me, this is their own view of the world, their own hurt, unprocessed trauma, I would like to clarify because I don't like when people make assumptions, not just about me, but just in general in life. Making assumptions is not an intelligent thing to do. I also like clarity, so I am going to let you know what I think. I chose my husband because I chose my husband. Yes, I did find him attractive, and he's white. I find lots of different men attractive. I have dated across the board in terms of ethnicity and race. And you know what? It doesn't matter what ethnicity it is. If I find you attractive, I find you attractive. My husband, we met at the right time. We have similar values. We wanted to go in the same direction in life. We grew up really similarly, and that's why I married him. So if you have a problem with that, like, I'm not telling you who you should date and who you should love. Go for it. Do whatever you want. Maybe do some introspection. Why is it so triggering for you that a stranger chooses to love someone? Why is that so triggering for you?
I was just having a craving for kimchi, so I took out this kaktugi, which is radish kimchi, okay? I ate a few pieces. Now I'm craving a bit more. Closed it up. My place stinks to high heaven, okay? And I'm saying this because I watched a video of this woman who was stitching another video of a couple where she had her samtam, which is like a Thai papaya salad, out, and her white husband was covering his nose while he was working because it was stinky. And the woman who was stitching this video was like, this man does not love you or respect you. And I would just like to say, I don't know anything else about that couple, but I know as a half Vietnamese, half Korean person that my fish sauce and my kimchi stink. They smell. Out of the context of eating it, they're just stinky foods. And I don't necessarily think that it's a sign of lack of love or disrespect. If the guy's like, because I will even, if I wasn't the person eating this, I am the person who ate it. And when I stepped out into my kitchen area and smelled it again, I was like, bro, this stuff, it's stinky.
I said this before, and I'm going to say it again, but the best couple in the world is a white man and a Chinese girl. Why this dynamic works so well is because there's family pressure Olympics. The Chinese family is going to say, go be a doctor. And the white family is going to say, just be happy. Yin and yang. I know because that's how I was made. That's why they work so well together, because they're always opposing sides. And eventually they all come and meet in the middle because they want to fuck. When she finally gets a taste of that white sausage, she's going to be in awe. White guys make you come. And in the Asian culture, they don't do that as much. They usually care about their own orgasms first. That's why you see so many Chinese women, white male, Thai woman, white male. They don't want to go back. They want to come.
Just a friendly reminder that Black people have helped every single oppressed group fight for their rights, just to have every single one of those groups turn their backs on us. Just a friendly reminder.
Fuck them again. Fuck them. Them and you is not friend. Fuck them. Them no need to be in your life. So why you making them cause you nothing but trouble and strife? Fuck
Boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan. Boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.